if you're self-aware, hopefully you've already realized that. You're like, man, I feel like I just keep beating myself over this. And I'm like, man, maybe I just need to be more motivated. But that motivation eventually fades away. And your system is just what leads you to failure. And then you end up being frustrated. And you only have so long of a runway. Hi, my name is Ghias. Essentially, I'm a kid who's obsessed with winning. Hello. Welcome to Healthy Systems Podcast. Today's Healthy System Podcast is around a topic that I think you all will love, but it might be uncomfortable to hear, which is that the free advice is keeping you stuck, broke, and sick. It's a hot take for the day, but it's going to make a lot of sense as I dive into it further. So this one is mostly for my sisters out there who are trying to figure it out on their own. And then also it applies to actually brothers too. It applies to people of all walks of life, but for the sake of this conversation, I might use sisters more just because lately a lot of my conversations have been with sisters who are wanting to get healthier. So it's a deep topic. So sit with me for a second, but it's going to really help improve the quality of your life if you just make this one change and start looking at the mindset of just try to change the mindset around it first. Because far too often we want the end result, but we don't want to change the mindset. But everything starts with the mindset, right? Because the mindset helps you create those thoughts, those feelings, those beliefs that led to the actions later on that end up producing the result. So what I see far too often is that year after year, people are trying to save money. They're trying to piece things together from Instagram, following random workouts on YouTube, asking friends for advice, asking their out-of-shape auntie for advice, and still stuck. So let's talk, because I'm your bro, Coach Mo, and that's what I do for a living. I help people get in shape, and I've done that for over the last decade with over 1,500 plus clients. So let me guess, right? In your situation right now at the time of recording this, it's April 19, 2025. And if I had to guess, every January, you set some New Year resolution and you're like, man, I'm going to get serious this year. Maybe you do some detox. Maybe you do a 30-day challenge. Maybe you go low carb for a little bit. Maybe you even hit up a gym or even get a gym membership. But then you fall off almost every single time. And the thing is, that's not entirely your fault. You didn't fail because you're lazy. You failed because you had no system. The game that you were playing was set up to make you fail, right? So you were running in circle 8, and that circle 8 felt like it's one of those situations where movement feels like progress, and it's not, you know what I mean? And it's this endless loop of trying to figure it all out alone. But maybe you were never meant to figure it out alone, right? Maybe that was the whole mindset that you were missing. So if we take it back, a lot of you that listen to Healthy System are either doctors, lawyers, engineers, physician assistants, professionals, right? A lot of you are professionals in your craft, people who went to college, likely because I did that, right? I went to school for engineering and biology. I was a bioinformaticist. And then also I worked in healthcare for so many years. I was a pre-med student. So I understand the importance of doing the reps and shadowing a mentor and learning. All of you doctors, you go to school for many years, right? 4 years of med school, then 3 to 4 years of residency, then fellowship. It's like you're constantly getting mentored, right? But imagine if there was a kid sitting in his house and being like, yeah, I'm going to just watch another YouTube video and learn how to be a cardiologist. You know what I mean? It's just that you need to go through proper channels to achieve that proper result, right? That's just the way it works. So far too often, we do that with our professions, but health and fitness are probably the most important things, because you cannot be a great professional if you're not healthy. You can't be a great parent if you're not healthy. You can't be a great sister, brother, anything. You're not as useful when you're not healthy, right? So, but with health, we're like, yeah, I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm supposed to figure it out. Oh my God, something must be wrong with me because I haven't figured it out on my own. But the thing is, you wouldn't expect to be an engineer on your own. You actually would go through some proper form of schooling and you know, somewhere where you can get mentored by some quality people. So we do that and we do that with our education and career. But with health and fitness, we're like, yeah, I'm going to just figure it out on my own. And rightfully so. We've gotten stuck for the last 10 years and we haven't made progress, right? So at the end of the day, if you're self-aware, hopefully you've already realized that. You're like, man, I feel like I just keep beating myself over this. And I'm like, man, maybe I just need to be more motivated. But that motivation eventually fades away. And your system is just what leads you to failure. And then you end up being frustrated. And you only have so long of a runway. That's what I used to tell my clients in the early days. And I've seen this in the business world too. Before, there's a time when you can just continue struggling. But there's also a time when you are forced to quit. You're just forced to quit because you ran out of options, right? Maybe you start a small business and now you ran out of money. Maybe you're trying to lose weight and now over and over again, you keep failing. I'm telling you, eventually your soul will give up. You will mentally quit. You'll be like, nothing works for me. And hopefully you're not at that position. But if you are, please go to my website and book a call because we can take you out of that. It's not impossible. But I think overall, you only have so long of a runway. So it's like just like a plane taking off, it has a certain amount of runway. And then once that runway runs over, the plane better be in the air. Otherwise, it's not going to end well, right? Same thing in life and fitness. So far too often, we just keep trying on our own and we're running out of runway. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, just remember that. And I'm not saying, another thing to remember, by the way, is I'm not saying you're cheap. You're just misaligned. You're not sure what to focus on, right? So a lot of you spend money on travel, you go on vacations, you spend money on DoorDash, you already spend money on food, groceries, you spend money on Ubers, you spend money on, really nice clothes, you spend money on luxury clothes even, you buy luxury purses, you spend monthly, if not weekly on Amazon, you spend money on makeup, you spend money on jackets and coats, you can spend money on all kinds of things, right? Even renovations in your house. But when it comes to investing in your health, the one thing that'll make everything else better, it'll make the purse you wear look better. It'll make the clothes you wear look better. It'll make the car you drive in look better. Everything looks better when you are healthy and fit. But the one thing when it comes to investing in our health, we just hesitate. And I just don't understand why, right? Because feeling good in your body will make your job better. It'll make your marriage better. Oh my God, it's such a oof. Far too often people get married, right? And then they keep getting fat. And then they're like, yeah, my spouse just looks at other people. My spouse looks at other girls. And it's like, yeah, because we kind of stopped taking care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves doesn't just mean expensive makeup, right? Taking care of ourselves means taking care of our body and health and being full of energy. So then we can pour into our spouse, right? Same thing here. So yeah, we're too hesitant when it comes to our health. And health is the only thing that can make everything else better. It can make your faith better. It'll make you a better Muslim or Christian or whatever faith you're part of, right? It'll allow you to worship harder, worship more. It'll also help you spend more time with your kids. You'll be able to run around with them, right? So the one thing that makes everything better, we just tend to hesitate on. And the thing is, health is not an expense. I still have coaches and I've been in shape for a decade. You know what I mean? I still have a coach. And the reason for that coach is because when I'm keeping my clients accountable and I have a huge list of things and I run a small business, I have employees, payroll, advertising spend, so many expenses, right? While I'm doing all of that, I tend to neglect my own health too, because it's normal. Everything else takes priority, right? And then that coach, she's always there for me, right? She keeps me accountable. So like all of us need that. If Michael Jordan had multiple coaches, if Tiger Woods had coaches, if all the best of the best, the genetically superior athletes, Serena Williams, these people were genetically gifted to be the world's best at their sport, yet they still had coaches. So why are you and I not having coaches? You know what I mean? And the coaches, to be honest with you, is not that expensive. You can definitely afford it. Especially if I looked at your DoorDash and you're ordering DoorDash twice a week, you can most definitely more than possibly afford a very good coach, including myself. So at the end of the day, health amplifies every other area of your life. And the thing with free advice is that free advice is such a trap. And I say this with a lot of passion because it's everywhere. You know what I mean? And it keeps you stuck. It's overwhelming. There's just too much information. People nowadays are struggling with infobesity. It's like obesity of information, right? And there's no plan that's actually built for you. So as soon as you start taking action on one plan, you see another reel or Instagram video or a Google article, and then you start following that one, and then this, and then this. It's kind of like being married and then being like, yeah, I'm gonna still go on dates. I'm gonna go on date with that person, this person, but you're like, you're married. It's misaligned. So you see how you keep getting stuck. Or it's kind of like when you start in relationships, when you're with somebody that you're like, you intend to marry, and all of a sudden you start looking at other people. You're like, oh, this person has this. And then shiny object syndrome just destroys you, right? And the goal isn't to control the shiny object syndrome. I think the goal is to hire somebody, invest your money into it, and then your brain will naturally lean towards their advice over everybody else, and you will win for sure. You will win because your focus will be on that thing versus just juggling through free information. And a lot of this information is not complete. So you follow some of it. You take something from intermittent fasting, something from keto, something from HIIT interval training, and this, and then it's just like, dude, all of a sudden you just have this like, you're just throwing spaghetti against the wall and nothing is sticking, right? So none of this works. It sounds smart until nothing takes off and you run out of the runway on the plane. You know what I mean? And the whole thing just burns down. So the thing is, write this down. Google gives you information, but a coach gives you transformation. So Google gives you information, a coach gives you transformation. And that's why you see all the client wins I post, all the client transformations you see on our website and our, everywhere you follow us. What you'll find is that these people they're not in our free program. They're our coaching clients. They got a dedicated one-on-one coach. We build their workouts around their needs, around what they have access to. We adjust their schedule. If they're traveling, we mix it up. We change it. We change their workouts. We guide them with nutrition. We look at the restaurants they're going to eat at. We suggest what to eat there. Literally, we handhold these clients' hands because we've been there for 10 years. We're so far ahead of them and they pay us for advice and boom, time and time again, they get amazing results versus somebody trying to do it for free. I just far too often see that person end up staying stuck years after. I've never seen a person who got on a consultation with me, ended up not going forward with us, which is fine. They ended up just being like, I'll just do it on my own. A year later, I see them gaining more fat. Every freaking time. I just have not seen people just naturally on their own just end up getting amazing results. And it's not your fault, right? Don't take it as a challenge. The thing is, you're just trying to become a doctor on your own. No, you got to go through medical school. You got to go through residency. You got to go through fellowship. You have to have hours and hours and hours and hours of mentorship, right? No matter how motivated and dedicated you are, you cannot become a cardiologist just watching free YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Same thing with health and fitness. So at the end of the day, here's the last few things I want to talk about. It's like, man, you can't afford to just keep relying on this free advice because the stakes are too high. Stakes are too high to stay stuck, right? So now let's get serious about this. Why are the stakes high? Because if you stay stuck, by default, your weight will keep going up. Your muscle mass will keep dropping. And if diabetes, high cholesterol, heart problems run in your family, which 90% of the time they do, you're heading in the same direction. Right? And this isn't just about how you look. It's about your life. And if you keep following random free advice that gets you nowhere, that means we're literally paying for bad health, paying with just not doing anything. You know what I mean? Because either way we pay. Either we pay with dollars today that, hire a coach that gets us results, or we pay with dollars later when it comes to healthcare bills. So pay now or pay later. You're going to pay a lot more in the medical bills and your life is going to be miserable. You know what I mean? Versus with health, it's like, man, your life can really change for the better. So at the end of the day, the same mindset that I see far too often that kept our parents' generation stuck, it will also keep you stuck because our parents never had coaches or trainers, but that's what kept them stuck, right? Most of the time, that's what kept them stuck. And our parents had developed diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and then their weight never went down. You know what I mean? Most of the time when you go to the mosque, even as a Muslim, you see a lot of people praying, over the age of 60, sitting on the chair because they cannot do sujood, normally, right? They have to sit on a chair and pray with that. So it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be that way. The only reason that happens is because your lack of muscle mass, right? You don't have enough muscle to move your body after a certain age because every year your muscle mass has been going down. So if you're done trying to figure it out on your own, and if you're ready to break the cycle for good, DM me the word Muslim fitness, DM me the word coaching. We got you, right? At the end of the day, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on our website, twtt.us, right? Hell, even if you Google my name, Mo Ghias, Moeghias, you'll find a place where you can actually get in contact with us. But at the end of the day, stop trying to follow the free advice. It is good, but it's not going to make you great. If you've been stuck, and you've been following free advice, saving screenshots of workouts after workouts, and you're forwarding your favorite workout to your favorite bestie on Instagram or Snapchat, at the end of the day, you haven't gotten the result. And if what you had was enough, you would have already gotten the result. So you're missing a part of the puzzle. And that's what you keep getting stuck at. So don't be afraid to spend money on your health. I'm telling you, if all you had to do is take one less vacation this quarter, I'm telling you, you will be forever grateful because your health is a forever investment. You know what I mean? And most of the time, It's a couple $100s a month. So it's not even that crazy, and you can definitely afford it. And if you invest in your health, not only do you get to feel better, look better, improve everything about your life, but you also get to avoid diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, all these lifestyle dependent diseases. So at the end of the day, this area of your life deserves the attention. Stop trying to just Google your way out of this. You're not going to be able to find it, right? At the end, for example, I'll give you a small example. I bought my brother a MacBook 2 years ago, and that MacBook, for some reason, had like some issue with the flickering screen. You know how some MacBooks do it. So the other day, we're trying to like Google our way through it because we're both like, he studies computer science. I went to college for it. So we're both techie, and we're trying to find our way through it. And then we realized we're like, this is not a software problem. This is a hardware problem, right? And we ended up taking it to the Apple store, and they charged us like $700-800, but at least the laptop was fixed. But the point I'm making is, you got to realize, when it's not a free information problem, you actually might have a bigger problem, and it's better to get help. You know what I mean? It's better to hire an expert who does this for a living. Far too often, I see people who just moved to the snowy mountains, and I've lived there for 10 years. So you see how like a mentor can help you, because this might be your first winter. This might be your first time trying to lose weight successfully, but your mentor, your coach, Coach Mo, has done it 90,000 times. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Getting help. It's okay to get help. It's okay to hire a trainer. It's actually, that's what changed my life. If I had stayed and not hired a trainer, I would still be fat, out of shape, and most definitely diabetic. I was pre-diabetic. My doctor told me, you're almost pre-diabetic at the age of 18. I'm 30 now, right? That's where I was headed. That's why I'm so passionate about coaching, because one coach changed my life. And it just set me up on a direction that forever led to winning all these medals in fitness and even academia, right? I was a Solby scholar in college. That happened because I was in the best shape of my life, and I could study harder and had more energy, and I could focus more. So all of these things, coaching changed my life. And I remember how scared I was when I invested in my first coach. But at that time, I had no plans to become a trainer. I had no plans to run my own business, hire employees, have a great, like, for example, last 30 days, my content has been seen by over 300,000 people. Alhamdulillah. Like that was never, ever, ever, ever the intention. But look at how your life can change if you decide to take your health seriously. I didn't know this, for me, fitness was a hobby. It was just a way to get in shape and feel more confident. But later on, it turned into my full-time profession, not just mine, all my employees and all my team members who also work for us now, right? So at the end of the day, you don't know what this will lead to. Going on vacation is cool. Buying another Gucci purse is cool, but nothing is cooler than having transformed your body. I'm telling you, by far the best ROI ever. You walk into a room, people look at you differently. So like, stop trying to be like body positive all the time. Maybe you do need to lose weight. Okay. Remember that. Sometimes we're too like delusional. We're like, yeah, like, that person said this, but they're mean. It's like, yeah, but like 9 other people said that too. And it's definitely impacting your self-esteem. So let's take it for real. You know what I mean? Let's work on fixing this, because if you fix this, your life also gets better. You know what I mean? So you walk into a room and people treat you differently. You walk into a conference, people treat you differently. People look at healthy people differently. You know what I mean? And if you're single, I'm telling you, your dating life will 10x improve if you take better care of your health, because people see that. No amount of makeup can hide that. So at the end of the day, take your health and fitness seriously. Hire a coach and trainer. Stop staying stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. Let's solve it for good. Let's fix this problem. I know we can. Right? So go to twtt.us/client. If you want to book a consultation with me, we can talk one-on-one, see what you're struggling with. And inshallah, if it makes sense to work together, we would love to help you. Again, twtt.us/client, just training with the titans.us basically, but twtt.us. Or you can message me on Instagram or Facebook and just say, hey, I watched this podcast. I would love some help. And then we can get on a call for sure. But overall, hope this helps. I'll see you on the next one. Keep kicking ass. And again, don't forget to question your beliefs that are keeping you stuck. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Systems podcast. I really appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, here are 2 ways I can help you for free. One, you can join our free Facebook community by just going to this link, bit.ly/Titan Facebook group. Just type that into your browser and then answer 2 questions, and then we'll let you into our Facebook community where you'll meet other people, as well as we have a lot of free resources in terms of meal plans, workouts, all kinds of stuff in there. Second way I can help you for free is if you follow me on Instagram at Mo Ghias, MOE, G as in George, H as in horse, I as in India, A as in Apple, S as in Sam. Follow me there and then shoot me a message with the word healthy systems, and then I'll be sure to send you a free gift. Other than that, keep listening in, and I really appreciate you.